Hey everybody, welcome back to our neck of the woods. So tonight's video, we're gonna go ahead and get the HRV installed. We're gonna figure out where the heck we're gonna put it. We're gonna figure out where we're gonna punch out. We won't do that probably, obviously in this video, but we're gonna have a game plan. And then we'll probably go purchase some registers and some flexible ductwork, and we'll try to figure out where the heck this stuff's gonna go. But tonight, simple and easy. Let's go ahead and just get this thing installed. I'll show you guys how they want it mounted, and then we'll just go from there. All right, so first thing first on this HRV, there's 4 mounting screws on this thing, on each one of the sides, and they come with these hooks. So you just take the screw out, put the hook in, put the screw back in, tighten it up. They'll move a little bit, but that's what basically you're hanging it from. Then they give you these nylon straps with a metal washer through the nylon, so that way you're not hurting anything. And then I've just decided to get some big old fat GRKs because that guy is not going to break as opposed to just like a construction screw. They're that thick. So we're just going to go straight through the side of the, it's technically a 2x3. It's 2.5 inches wide. So this guy will go all the way through that 2.5 inches of lumber up in there. It'll poke out the side, but not a big deal. And there should be plenty of pull down force because this thing only weighs 65 pounds and we're breaking that up obviously over 4 sides here. So I think we're going to go ahead and put it right in this area right in here. So pretty much where there's still a flat wall, we can get it against the wall. The ductwork can go up in through like that joist and through that joist. And then hopefully we'll still be able to utilize the door and open it up and come in this way. If not, and we're anywhere close to hitting it, again, whether this door opens again that wall over there, obviously we don't want to open it up on the inside. But if we open up this door and it swings inward and this upper corner catches, then I guess we're going to have to open it coming outwards and go towards the gym wall over here. Not a big deal, but I do like when you enter into a room, you open the door up. So fingers crossed, that spot right there will work and we won't actually hit it. All right, so since those straps are done, this water line is going to be in the way. So I'm going to get some weights, stack them up on top of here. So that way we can get the HRV pretty tall up and start hooking in here. And then you just grab the straps on top and you just start pulling it down to lift it up. And we should have plenty of room that will go ahead and clear this pipe right here. But install is just going to be a little tricky. I think we're going to need another ladder. Oh, Lord. Well, that sucks. But at least we're away from that pipe now. We're not hitting anything. The ductwork's going to be a little bit interesting because as you can see, this one is like right under that floor joist. That one's under that floor joist. We may have to turn our screws around because as those ductwork come on up through, these guys are sticking out, or we can just chop these down, I guess. So it doesn't fray or hit anything. And then I guess we got some blocking to remove. Instead of trying to cut 2 6-inch holes through that blocking, just go ahead and remove that piece of blocking and go ahead and remove that piece of blocking, which should be fine because these 2 floor joists are nailed down to that top plate there. So it's not like these bottoms can kick out anymore, and it's fully supported down on that wall. So 2 little pieces of blocking aren't gonna hurt anything. But there's a general idea. Here's the power cord. It's only 3 foot long, so we are going to have to run a plug over here somewhere. Run a new dedicated wire just for this guy, so that way it's on its own circuit all by itself. And then again, I think we're just going to come up right through here, and we do have to stay under the floor joist, and we have to stay under all of that PVC piping. And then outside, I just got to figure out where we're going to punch this hole out, because we do have the gas line right here for a reference point. That's going right outside, and that is underneath of the deck. Well, we need to get above the deck. So hopefully the deck boards are somewhere like up in here, and then all the way up in there, we'll be able to put the intake in the exhaust. And hopefully that wall is far enough apart that I'll have to read the instructions to figure out how far you have to make them. But I think that's gonna work. I think we also cleared the door, so we'll be able to come in the door just like I thought. And then again, we'll run the in and out that way, and the in and out this way, or the intake and exhaust out of the house that way. So it should work. May not look the best, but this is a utility room, so what are you gonna do? But let me level this thing out, maybe push it up a little bit higher, and I will read the instructions, and I will be back in a few days when we go purchase the flexible ductwork and the registers. And again, we figure out where the heck we're going to go, and we're going to actually punch up through the first floor and turn radiators down and have them be down inside of the gym area, the living area, and everything else. So I will be back then. Although real quick, I want to go over the unit again. I got a thumbs down when I unboxed this thing, so somebody must have been unhappy about something. But first off, just to talk a little bit more about the unit. Number one, HVACquick.com did steer me a little bit wrong. I bought these extra filters. They were only $13, but these are pretty much a waste. They're just dust filters, and they're made of plastic. And Life Breath says that you should go ahead and take those out every 4 months, or depending how bad the air is, but at least maybe twice a year. Go ahead and take them out. Put them in the sink with dish soap. Let them soak for 30 or 40 minutes. Wring them out, and you can even throw them back in the unit wet. They don't have to be completely dry. But since those are made of plastic, they're literally probably going to last forever, and they're never going to really break down from dish soap and just dust that comes in and hits them from the outside. So they were not needed, but I've got 2 spare, I guess, anyway. And the other thing, I don't know if I got one for free or not, but the control module unit, this was $89. And one was actually inside of the unit. So I guess I can at least return this for 90 bucks. And if I return those, I mean, I get an extra $100 and some back, which means this whole unit is only going to cost me about $2,100 shipped. Again, I don't know if HVACquick.com knew that or not, but I have 2 of the exact same controllers now, and one of them is just not needed. All right, so 2 things that we have to do to this unit at least twice a year, again, is clean the green filters and also pull out this entire core. Now, if you guys remember me talking about your furnace in your house or your AC in your house, how you literally just suck air out of your house and force it down through your furnace, and then it gets blown right back up into the house, so you're literally breathing your own filth 24/7. You never actually have anything from the outside come in or the inside go out, except if you have a really leaky house where air is just coming in through your studs and stuff. Your furnace only has a traditional filter of about maybe 1/2 inch, maybe up to 1 inch, maybe 2 inches. This entire core is basically a filter. So you want to talk about being able to filter out contaminants. Again, no, this thing's not going to filter out like gas, or if you live in the inner city and there's a lot of smog, this is not going to filter out smog, because it is just basically a paperish, metalish looking finned filter. But this entire thing does the filtration and stuff in here. These are only dust filters. So I imagine one day this may go bad, but Life Breath says also twice a year this should come out, soak in your sink or utility tub, rinse it out when you're done, and then again, you can even reinstall this wet. But that's one hell of a filtration thing over what you get on a traditional furnace setup. And then I did make a mistake earlier. I said that we'd have to remove the blocking over here and the blocking over here. That's wrong. The blues are the colds. So they both go outside. So I think based on the diagram on the outside here, this second one in, that is fresh air from the outside. So air is going to be entering in from the unit in here. And then as the fan is over here, it's going to suck air in probably through this way, bring it in through down here. It's going to go up through the fan, go up through here, and then that's also going to go outside. So this is your exhaust from outside. This is your intake. So we do not have to remove that piece of blocking. We only have to remove one piece, because then again, your reds or your hots that stay inside of the house. The second one, that is your stale air. So that's your return coming back into the unit. And then this is your fresh air. So technically speaking, your fresh airs are, this one comes in from the outside and this fourth one blows out through the house. The return air gets sucked down through here. As you can see, it gets filtered. It's going to go through here as a cross, which is why as the air gets sucked in through here and goes as a cross and gets blown up through the house, these airs intermix in here, which heat this up. And then again, the air goes down through here and gets blown outside. So again, the HVAC quick lady did say these units were over 80% efficient, or 80% being able to heat up. So if it is 0 degrees outside and we want the air 68 in here, we're only going to get 80% of that. So the registers will be blowing really cold air, but in the wintertime, you have to adjust the settings. In the fall, you have to adjust the settings. Same with the summer and same with the spring. You're always going to be adjusting this thing for each season, because you can't have this thing at max speed in the middle of winter, or your registers are going to be blowing 50-degree air and it's going to be absolutely miserable in your home, and your furnace is going to have to run. So you will have to adjust this thing to only run maybe like an hour a day or something like that. More instructions that we have to read, but that is essentially how you hook this unit up. And then the last thing that I forgot, in the bottoms of these pans, it's just regular old foam, but there is a 4-way channel on that foam leading to a hole on this side and leading to a hole on this side. And these are your defrost / condensation modes. So you got a hole right here and a hole right here. So they do have those foam channels kind of tapered in. So anything that falls off of that core when it's in a defrost cycle, or if you're trying to pull humidity out of the house, it will condensate out of these holes. And they want you to use just 1/2-inch clear plastic tubing, no different than this stuff right here. So we do have to install some nipples here that hang down, and then there's a T-fitting, and they want you to loop the 1/2-inch tubing. They want you to loop it up and around, so basically you make a P-trap. This isn't going to be going into a drain, so we shouldn't be getting any smelly, nasty gas or anything up in here that would be a problem. But I guess technically it's not the worst thing in the world, because I am going to be running that 1/2-inch over here to, I think that's called a Little Giant condensation pump. But we'll run it down the back wall over here, enter into here, and then any condensation will just drain down in there. So I guess if that water sits in there and it does get stagnant and nasty, you don't want fumes coming up in through here, because this box is completely sealed with gaskets on the door, and it's got about 1/2 inch of foam, making this thing kind of airtight. You don't want that entering back up in here and then nasty gases getting up into your filtration air. So we'll make a little bit of a P-trap. We'll go get that 1/2-inch tubing along with all of our ductwork and everything else. And then the last thing that I wanted to say, you do need insulated ductwork on these, but only for the 2 blues that are going outside. On the inside of the house, we can again just use that aluminum, cheap tin foil type flexible ductwork that will run through the floor joists extremely easy and then can pop up or pop down, but they do not need insulated, and you don't need to waste your money because you're in a conditioned space. If anything, I would assume if you insulated that pipe for the reds that go throughout, then you're not giving that pipe a chance to heat up and get up into temperature for your actual house. And then as the air goes down through the HRV, you're not heating up the incoming air enough. So insulation, I think, would be a bad idea for the 2 reds, but you definitely are going to be putting 2 6-inch holes out through your house. Those pipes do need insulated, or this utility room is going to get very cold. Hey everybody, welcome back to our neck of the woods. Holy crap. Kind of a snow apocalypse going on right now. Yesterday, it was like 30, 40 degrees outside and it was rainy. And now today it's December 23rd and it is -8 degrees right now. Yes, the camper is completely frozen. All of the windows are completely frozen over because they're only single panes. The wind is absolutely screaming. The entire RV is just like we're rocking on a boat, but it does not feel too terrible in here, obviously. The propane's probably running 24/7 on the house and the garage now, but we are maintaining 55 and that might have just kicked on actually. It says that it's 53 here in the garage right now on the thermostat. I'm gonna go ahead and actually lower it to 50 degrees so that basically the garage won't run for a while and the concrete will stay hot. But at least that thermostat right there says 55.5, but holy crap is it cold. The RV floor, the only thing separating us from the weather is literally 3/4 inch of wood. And then running down the center of the RV is the ductwork. And even with some space heaters on and with the fireplace on, the furnace is still kicking on probably 5 or 6 times an hour. So it is insane right now. And I think the rest of America and northeast of America is kind of being hit with the absolute same thing. It's nuts. Just a huge Arctic frost, chill, freeze cycle coming down from Canada, and it's just absolutely nailing us right now. But what I have finishing up with this video, which actually, come to think of it, we've already started this video, so you're not really welcoming back to the neck of the woods. I'm an idiot. We're gonna go ahead and get finished started on the HRV stuff. So I went ahead and I purchased all of the ductwork that I think's gonna work, the turn downs, the elbows, the T's, everything that I think we're gonna need. So I'm gonna go pull them out of the car now and get them into the garage here as fastly as I can. And then we'll go down to the basement and we'll get the planning on where I'm gonna have everything laid out. But I can't believe I forgot that I already started this video, but oh well. Let's get all this stuff in and I'll show you what I got. Oh my God. Ah! Oh my God. Ah! Holy crap, that hurts. Ah, my freaking hands. If it's -8 right now, I don't know what the wind chill is. That literally took only like 20 seconds to bring everything in. Oh, I cannot tell you how bad that hurts. Can't really recall me ever really experiencing -8. Not to mention a wind chill, probably like -20 or 30. People in Alaska are probably laughing right now at me. Holy crap, that sucks. Let's get all this crap in the basement though, and I'll show you what we're gonna do. All right, so hopefully the garage actually isn't a real 53 degrees, because that means the boiler would have been running a very long time and it was just opening the garage up when I first got in there. But the house is getting colder and there's 2 reasons for that. It's 56.1 in here now instead of the 60.9 that it's always been. Yes, obviously it has to do with that it's -8 outside right now. But one thing to combat the temperature or the thermostat from always kicking on down here, I pulled the thermostat off of the wall over there and I went ahead and put it into the utility room. And again, it seems to be working okay. I did have to lower the temperature a little bit, and in fact, the basement's on right now. So no idea where we're at time frame wise for how long that's actually gonna run, but I did move the thermostat up higher. Like you guys saw in the YouTube short, seems to be working, even though it's on right now. I guess technically, because it's so cold out, I could even lower that a little bit and get it down to maybe like 62 or something. But that's one reason why upstairs we are dropping temperature. But this is everything that I have for the HRV system. It's about $400, almost $500 worth of stuff. It's basically just, again, that real flexible 6-inch ductwork. I got about 150 feet of that. And then I got 25 feet of the insulated stuff. The thing that sucks about the insulated, it's only an R6. So once we cut those 2 holes in through that wall right there, that is gonna suck that we only have an R6. I would love to have like an R50 around those pipes. And I guess technically I might be able to figure something out. But I don't know, but you can imagine why an entire house system, if you get like a regular furnace, etc., why it may cost you $15,000 or something to put one in, because not only are you paying for the unit, but you're paying for the installation, the labor, and then that only being like $400 or stuff right there. Imagine for a whole house, you're not just running 6 inches through your house. Maybe up in your attic, you're running up to like maybe 12 inches in diameter. So that becomes a lot more expensive on the pipe and the fittings, and then all of the, whether you got the flexible stuff or the hard rigid stuff, that stuff probably really adds up for a whole house. But on a side note, real quick, before I tell you the game plan, I did get the entire gym here all wired up to code. So we've got plenty of outlets. We need to get the inspector over here, and then we can go ahead and put in the insulation and bring the drywall down here and do that. And then I guess once the plumber and the structural engineer approve the plumbing up here above the gym, and once I start cutting through these floor joists, I have to have the structural engineer out here or the county structure engineer to come out here, and he has to look at all the holes I drilled through the I-joists. And once that's done, we will have our first official 100% check off of the house, because everything structure-wise will be done. That includes all of the walls, the framing, the outside ICF, and even the trusses. So pretty much he cleared me the last time he was out here for everything except drilling holes through the floor joists. So once we get these holes drilled today, he can actually come out here too, and the electrical can come out here and look at the gym. And then we can get started on getting this gym a little bit more done, which, as you can see, we're cleaned up. We are working on the floor. We're gonna put down those guys that we have sitting outside first, and then we're gonna put gym mats on top of it. Even though gym mats are approved to be gym mats because they're pretty thick, screw it. I've already got that stuff sitting outside. It's free. And one more layer of protection. If we're dropping weights, it won't actually hurt the concrete because, again, one more layer of protection. So we're going to fill this entire gym out with those tiles that I hated in the garage, and then we'll cover them up and you'll never see them under the real gym mats. All right, so as I mentioned before, we only have to remove one piece of blocking, and it's going to be that blocking right there in the middle without the wire. So not that wire, not that wire, just the one right there. We need to remove that. And then both of the 6-inch ducts can come up into this floor joist, and there should be plenty of room for 2 6-inchers to fit up in there. And then coming out of that one right there, we'll just move on over and put a register basically right above my head. And we should be able to attach it to the main beam here. So what that's gonna do is it will be a return, because the gym may get smelly because it's a gym, and because it's a space that's not used a lot. That is where they recommended to put all returns on like non-livable spaces. So hopefully it can suck the air out of the utility room, it can suck the air out of the gym, and then it will go on outside back to the unit. And then of course we have a T, because then we need to continue that 6-inch hole all the way down through the entire length of the house. And then those other fittings, really, you would just think of what you would need. You'd need another T to get a return over into the bathroom down over there. And then the other part of that T will swoop on up and will hit up the bathroom in the master bedroom. So really there's only 3 returns that I'm planning on. So this side of the house, that side of the house, and then only up on the very first floor in the bedroom or the bathroom will be a return, unless I figure out maybe I can put one somewhere over here like in the kitchen area, and then that would be 2 returns then on each side of the house for both the basement and the first floor. So that would be 4 total there. Then of course for the fresh air supplies, we need to put 1, maybe 2 down here in the living space of the basement, or 2 up in the living space upstairs. We also have bedrooms that we could do, just at least that bedroom over there. And then of course the master bedroom. So we have to at least keep them equal. So if we have 4 returns, we need 4 fresh airs, but the system does need balanced out. So if one is overpowering the other, online I looked it up to see how you actually balance the system. And you basically just remove these plugs here, set in a manometer, I think, with some clear hose, and you do like one side, and the manometer will give you a reading. And you need to get the readings within close to each other based on a chart that Life Breath shows you. And then you just balance the valving up top, like if you're bringing in too much air or if you're sucking too much air, etc. But you basically just balance the system. That will have to be later in the springtime when we actually go ahead and cut these holes through the wall and we get the back deck on and everything. But balancing it out doesn't seem too hard. So if you do have 4 returns and 3 fresh airs, or 4 fresh airs and 3 returns, etc. You just balance out the unit, and then it will have adequate airflow throughout the house. So it's not really that big of a deal. But I'm gonna get a ladder, remove that piece of blocking, figure out how we're gonna strap all this up with some, of course, nylon strapping for ductwork. And then I guess we'll start planning out where we're actually gonna cut our holes. Ooh, that's a lot of nails. All right, just for the hell of it, let's go ahead and get this guy over here. We'll attach the first one up on there, secure it and lock it down, tape it up with the appropriate tape to seal everything. And then it looks like we are gonna have to move a lot of stuff. HVAC should have definitely gone in first, because some of these water lines and stuff, we're gonna have to take the brackets out and push them up as high as they'll go so we can cut a 6-inch hole below them and not hit anything. We're probably gonna have to move some electrical wires too by pulling out the staples and stuff, holding them in, so that way we can push them up. And then that is why I haven't officially done all of my plumbing yet in the house, because I did not want to have to do plumbing lines. Water lines and electric lines are easy to just go ahead and remove their clips and stuff and kind of just push them up and out of the way. But plumbing, I definitely do not want to be cutting PVC pipe and stuff. So fingers crossed, I think we'll be okay. But again, we still do have to move some water lines here. So I'm going to do this off camera just because it's going to be a while. And we'll figure out where the first return is going to go and where the first fresh air is going to run down as we go on that way down through the house. Install here real quick. Got the ductwork down around these. A little bit of a pain, obviously, because they're oval. But this was not really the problem. It was putting the tape around and then putting the clamp on. Obviously, this big lip right here, that's for if these ducts were insulated, which I don't know why you would put them on here. If you say to your customers, don't put insulation on these ducts, just put insulation on these. But you can't really get the clamp and the tape down in there too easily because of that lip. So I wish these guys were actually, you know, like 2 inches higher or something. That would make install a little bit easier. But those guys are at least done. All the obstructions and everything are out of the way going that way. And again, removing that piece of blocking isn't gonna hurt anything because this joist and this joist can't go anywhere because it is attached to that wall. All right, everybody, making some progress here. Got my first return up and it is screwed into the main beam. Now, one little thing that I noticed, and I knew this was gonna happen, all of the bolts that are W patterned all the way down for the main beam, almost every single one of them is loose. So I knew that was going to happen because the LVLs were sitting outside for a few months and they got wet. So obviously they've been inside for about 2 years now. They have shrunk. So we got to bust out the impact, and at some point we got to go down all the way down the house and hit every one of those. And there's something like 80 bolts that I have to hit. It'll be real quick and easy with the impact, but I knew the LVLs were going to shrink a little bit, and now those bolts are really loose. So we got to hit every one of those. But again, first return, screwed up into there. We've got it taped around, and then we put worm clamps on it to hold it in. We've got our strapping in. We're holding up over here. And then I've got that first 6-inch hole drilled right there. But then I got to thinking, you know, 3 foot 4 inches doesn't make sense where the next 6-inch hole has to be. And then it dawned on me, 3 foot 4 inches for a 6-inch hole is how far away you have to be from a load-bearing surface. So the main beam, for example, and each end of the house. If you're gonna drill a 6-inch hole through these, 3 foot 4 inches over is where you have to be. The next hole, though, just has to be double the distance. What I mean by that is, if you've got a 6-inch hole right here and a 6-inch hole right here, the inside edges, so this inside edge and this inside edge, those have to be 12 inches apart. So that's the rule that you have to do when you're actually drilling holes, anything above 2 inches. You just have to be double the distance away. So technically speaking, on these joists that are 18 foot, almost 18 foot long, I could start a 6-inch hole 3 foot 4 inches over, put a hole, and again, you would go 3 foot 4 on this outside edge. I could put a 6-inch hole, and then go a foot over and another 6-inch hole. A foot over, another 6-inch hole. You could literally drill like a dozen holes down each one of these, and these things would still be structurally strong. Now, while that would never happen, you guys get what I'm saying. You can put some pretty massive size holes in these joists, almost all the way from the top cord and the bottom cord. You can go pretty much almost all the way to the top as long as you don't touch that 2x up here and you don't touch that 2x up there. And then I think the max length is 8 inches. So you can put a decent sized square hole in these and circle holes, almost any size that you need to run everything. So that's why I-joists are just so great. The fact that they're just so versatile and you can do so much to them. But I'm gonna get this first one hooked up here. We already got our T and we're getting ready to run on down the house. And again, we're taped and we're worm clamped. We'll do this on this side. And then I think we got a little bit of sag right about there, plus where this is going to be, because this is heavy. We'll put some more strapping in, and that will be our first return done, but first of many. So let's go ahead and get this one strapped up, screwed up, and then we got some more water lines to move and electric, etc. But so far, I only had to move one water line, just had to push it up ever so slightly just to get that 6-inch hole. And again, manufacturer does say the 6-inch hole, you should try and hit the middle of the 14-inch joist, but if you are a little low or a little high, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's still structurally sound, and we got about an inch or so on the bottom of that. So it should be fine, but I just hope, with that being exactly 6 inches, I just hope these actually feed all the way down, because that's going to be a very long day trying to get those through a smaller hole than what the outside diameters of those actually are. All right, yeehaw, they fit. It's a little bit tight, but at least the holes are really, really cut smooth because that's a brand new blade. You do have to get them through a little bit. So the fact that I have now 25 feet to go all the way down that way, it's literally gonna take forever, because you have to go through every single joist inch by inch, making sure they don't get cut or frayed or snagged or anything on the wood. Get it all through there 16 inches at a time, and then we have to go all the way down. So this is literally going to take a couple days to get all of that through. But again, to me, that at least looks good. Everything's strapped up above the drywall. We can go ahead and cut our next 6-inch hole for the fresh air as we go on down to the basement, which will be its first stop. But this stale, stagnant air return, again, gym, I think is what we're going with, and the utility room. And then we're gonna do bathroom down here, bathroom upstairs. So hopefully that's powerful enough to suck everything out of the house. I do hate that there's only one stagnant air up on the main floor. But again, we have this massive opening right here. So technically speaking, everything should be able to suck up and all be the same airspace. And then I think the fresh airs, I think again, we're just gonna put one here in the living area down in the basement, probably one in this bedroom over here. And then I think upstairs, we're gonna do one somewhere in the main living, kind of like right in the middle. Maybe over by the fireplace, since this should be like kind of center of the house, maybe over there somewhere. And then again, we'll put one in the master bedroom. So that's 3 total. I just hope it works and we get the fresh air quality that we want. Hey everybody, welcome back and Merry Christmas. Obviously still down here in the basement working on the HVAC here. And we are getting some progress done. But I noticed the video was getting kind of long, so just wanted to kind of sum it up here. But I did make one little tiny change. As you guys can see, we are using that flexible ductwork again through all of the floor joists. And because it's flexible and that stuff is not very strong, it dawned on me, I don't know how much 267 CFM actually is. So if this thing's on max airflow and that thing's really blowing and moving, with a 6-inch hole and a 6-inch kind of fragile duct going through there, I didn't want to be moving like this. And then eventually the wood cut every single one of these going all the way down. So as you can see on each side of the floor joist in that hole, I spray foamed it. So that way, if it does have too much movement because the wind is just so strong, that spray foam in there is basically gluing the aluminum to the wood and filling up the gap in between there. And then if the wood were to cut a hole, well, now we're spray foamed on each side, so there's no way for the wind to escape. It'll all stay up inside of those floor joists, or yeah, in between the floor joists, in between that wood. So they can't go anywhere. So once that hardens, that will actually get really, really stiff, and we shouldn't have to worry about that ever going bad one day. So I thought that was a little bit of a good idea. And then I did get, I think I got one more duct to go through. So again, one last time, we got one down here. This is gonna feed the entire basement. That is a fresh air. This guy right above my head, that is the fresh air for the master. And then this guy right here is a fresh air for this bedroom down here in the basement. So technically, if you leave this bedroom door open, and I'm still not 100% if we're gonna go Jack and Jill or not, but if we put a door right here and open that up, then that fresh air return can also, I guess, technically feed the bathroom and feed the bedroom over there. But that's a return right there too for this bathroom. So we probably do want to seal this off and maybe put the Jack and Jill bathroom, which actually wouldn't be a Jack and Jill, it would just be like a Jack. We could put a door right here so this bedroom can come into this bathroom. And if this door stays open, then this bedroom can get evacuated with its air and sucked up out of this return. But this bedroom could get fresh air being fed down in, and the entire basement hopefully can get that fresh air fed down in. And like I said, I still have one more to do for a fresh air for the entire living room and kitchen. I got to decide where to put that one. Centrally placed would probably be a good idea. I was going to put it on that back wall, but if we put the thermostat and everything on that back wall, I really don't want fresh air blowing up at it, because if it's too cold, then it's going to kick the thermostat on. So it might be a good idea to put it somewhere over in here in the kitchen, basically like on one side of the island or something. So that way it's tucked up against something where you'll never put like a piece of furniture over, but somewhere around the island, and that would give us fresh air again for the entire kitchen. It would give us fresh air for this entire space. Again, the hole is open into the basement, so fresh air and exhaust air can return. And then in the master bedroom, that is where that vent is going. So we got fresh air blowing into here. And yes, I do have that blocked off, not only for dirt, but I've got it blocked off because just cutting that hole where it's about 54 in here right now, cutting that hole down in there, you can feel the 54 degree just blasting you in the face while it's 65 down there. So quite a big difference that we're now bringing these two airs together a lot easier. And then the last one, that is a vent right there, and that is a return. So it'll suck the air out of this bathroom. If we leave the closet door open, it'll suck the air out of there. And if you leave the bedroom and bathroom door closed here, then those two airs won't really mix and fight each other all the time. But that's the game plan. Like I said, I just got to cut one more hole in through the floor and just keep running all that ductwork. But thankfully it is working. I was thinking about swapping out and doing hard rigid, but that means I would have to cut a hard rigid every like 15 inches, get it up into the floor joist, tape the seam, and then another 15 inches and tape the seam and do that all the way down. It would have worked, but because that's not flexible, I actually don't know what the outside diameter is at, so that may not have gone through the floor joist as easy as that flexible ductwork does. So as long as I had that spray foam that I just had that thought and I spray foam it to the floor joist, then the middle section can bounce and move all at once. The part that goes through that floor joist though, that won't be moving, and we don't have to worry about snagging any tears or anything like that. But that's what I got for you guys for this video. That's what I got for the HRV for now. We will figure out how to do the controller another day. Again, it's probably gonna go on that wall over there by the fireplace, just so it's kind of central in here. And I can still get the wires up through the floor because the back side of this wall is not drywalled yet, so we can get the hard wire to pop up on through. But I got to figure out how to wire that thing up. There's like 12 slots on there, and I don't even have wire for it. I need to go actually get thermostat wire that comes in like a bundle of 5, and it looks like we're going to need 2 of them because I think there's 10 or 12 wires that go to the controller and that goes to the wall unit. So that's a lot of wires that I need. And I got to figure out how to actually do it. But again, that's what I got for you guys. It's actually now the day after Christmas, so I hope everyone did enjoy their holiday. We are still frozen in the RV, But we kind of had a game plan where we went and got jugs of water, and we can use that to drink and cook and brush our teeth with. But then we got other water. Once those are empty, we fill up with the kind of the lead water out of the garden hose spigot over here, and we can use that to like wash dishes, flush the toilet and stuff like that. But we are up to 12 degrees Fahrenheit, so we're no longer at -8. So it is getting warmer, and this week it's supposed to get all the way back up into like 40 or 50 or something insane. So we will be able to have our water back here within a day or two. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys think I need another vent somewhere, again, we can't get under this main beam right here that sits here, so I can't get any fresh airs or returns into the laundry, into the mud. I really don't care about that half bath. I think with the vents being centrally controlled in the basement and up here, we will be able to pull air out and push air back in, so I'm not really worried about it. But if anyone wants to chime in and let me know, please go ahead. But I think 6-inch ducts and 267 CFM is more than enough that we'll be able to do all this. So until next time, I will see you guys later. Comment down below. Hit us up on Instagram, NeckofTheWoods 2020, if you got anything to personal message us, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.